Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Reaper, and today we're going to be doing another build guide for Deep Rock Galactic. This is going to be for the Zhukov submachine guns, and this is going to be going over all of their overclocks, as well as all the builds that I use for them. Just like with all my builds, these are not necessarily the most well optimized, these are the builds that I use. So let's begin with the clean overclocks, which is one. This is minimal magazines. This gives you a faster rate of fire and faster reload. This is really good, and it's just like a lot of the clean overclocks that we've been over. You can build this however you would like. It's going to be a bonus regardless of how you build the submachine guns. The way that I usually build them is going with expanded ammo bags for even more ammo, going with the magazine size. Sometimes I'll go with the quick fire ejector, but I don't find it as useful with this build, even though it does take it down to 0.8 seconds, which is actually really nice for the fast reloads. In Tier 3, I usually go with better weight balance. This is just to reduce spread so I can use the machine guns a little bit easier. In Tier 4, honestly, all of these are pretty good. Blow-through rounds, hollow point rounds, and the expanded ammo bags are all really great choices. I usually go with hollow point rounds for my general build, but sometimes I'll go with blow-through rounds or the expanded ammo bags. Like I said, all of them are good. And then in Tier 5, you can go with conductive bullets, although if you're going with conductive bullets, I would recommend taking the Scout's IFG grenade, unless you're only planning on using this in solo, and then Bosco can be your electric damage. But IFG grenades really help with this. Otherwise, get in, get out is also a really great option if you want extra mobility with the Scout, which, I mean, Scout already has a ton of mobility, but even more mobility is pretty nice. For our balanced overclock, we have custom cases. This increases our magazine size by 30, but we lose out on 4 rate of fire. Losing out on the rate of fire doesn't matter all that much with the submachine guns, I would say, especially with this build, because usually if I'm taking this, I'm just taking the most amount of ammo, because I'm likely taking this with a very specialized primary weapon, something like the super cooling M1000. I'll use it with that. So for this, I usually go with expanded ammo bags once again, just to get more ammo. Quick fire ejector so that I reload faster. You don't necessarily need a larger magazine, but it's not bad if you want to have it. Or you could take the supercharged feed mechanism if you just want to completely negate the downside of this. That works too. I don't mind it that much, so I usually go with quick fire ejector. Tier 3, once again, I go with better weight balance just so that I can stay on target a little bit easier. In Tier 4, again, all of these are pretty good. Sometimes I'll go with the expanded ammo bags if I have a very specialized weapon, where I'm going to be using the Zhukovs the majority of the time, and then maybe just switching to like a really high damage sniper build or something. So in that case, I'm definitely going to want to go with expanded ammo bags. But if that's not the case, then something like hollow point bullets works really well too. And then again, if I'm running the IFG, conductive bullets. If not, then get in, get out. So our first unstable overclock is the Cryo minelets. This lowers our damage and lowers our clip size, but we get Cryo minelets, which can stick to a surface, whatever that surface might be, and then detonate, dealing damage to enemies as well as slowing them down and potentially applying a freeze. Well, it does apply a freeze effect, but it can potentially freeze them in place. Now, this isn't going to happen if they only hit 1 or 2 minelets, but if they hit multiple minelets, or if they're already under the effect of something like a cryo cannon, then this will just speed it up. Or if they were on the outskirts of like a cryo grenade going off, then this will also help. For this one, I definitely go with expanded ammo bags because I would like to use it more often, and we're not really hitting breakpoints with the submachine guns, so being at 11 damage is perfectly fine. We weren't killing things like crawlers with one shot anyway, and it's really difficult to actually just hit a single shot with this gun because they kind of go all over the place. In Tier 2, honestly, all of these are good options. Usually I go with the high-capacity magazines just to make up for it, so I'm back at 50, but you could also go with quick fire ejector if you'd like. That one seems pretty good to me too. In Tier 3, I usually go with better weight balance. This just allows me to keep the minelets more on target. In Tier 4, I usually go with blow-through rounds because you can punch through an enemy, and then the cryo minelets will land underneath them and then set them off. And then I usually go with get in and get out for this, but you could go with conductive bullets, again, if you're running the IFG grenade. Most of the time I'm not with this. I'm usually running it with cryo grenades, so get in, get out just makes a bit more sense here for me. Our next overclock is embedded detonators. This one is kind of fun. This one makes it so we lose damage, we lose out on a lot of ammo, and we lose out on clip size, but we get a lot more damage from the reloads. For this one, I go with expanded ammo bags. We're not really trying to hit breakpoints at all with damage, and our direct damage is already so low that we just want more of the bullets so that the explosives can do most of the damage. Also, going with any sort of damaging perk, I don't think increases the explosion damage any, and if it did, 1 point wouldn't matter all that much. In Tier 2, I usually go with faster reloads. I honestly think that the 30 round magazine is perfectly fine for this. You could go with the higher capacity magazines, but I usually don't. I just keep it at 30. It makes it a little bit easier, and with the quicker reloads, I'm going to be using this against larger enemies to try to blow them up quicker. So just detonating it faster makes more sense to me. In tier 3, go with better weight balance because, again, we're not going for damage here. We just want to be able to actually hit enemies. Usually I go with expanded ammo bags here. And then in tier 5, I pretty much always go conductive bullets. This just makes it so you can do tons of damage towards anything that's under the effect of the IFG grenade, and that's pretty much always what I run if I'm running embedded detonators. And then our last unstable overclock is gas recycling. This gives us 5 more direct damage, but we get 50% increase to our spread. We get no longer any sort of weak point damage, and we also lose out on mobility when we're using it. This one I actually probably use the most out of any of the submachine guns overclocks, just because I find it to be a pretty well-rounded overclock. Moving slower doesn't really matter because you can stop firing whenever you'd like, and the weak spot damage doesn't really matter because it's sometimes really difficult to hit weak spots with this weapon in the first place. So in tier 1, I usually go with expanded ammo bags just so that we have extra ammo. Again, 1 more point of damage doesn't really matter all that much. In tier 2, I usually go with quickfire ejector just so that I reload quicker. Tier 3, I go with the better weight balance. This just gives me more accuracy. And in Tier 4, I switch between blow-through rounds if I want to punch through enemies and if I want to use this more against crowds. Or I go with expanded ammo bags if I just want to have more ammo. Most of the time I'm going with expanded ammo bags because I'm just spraying this into crowds a lot of the time, or spraying this into like Praetorians and stuff. Also, don't take hollow point bullets on Tier 4 because you don't get any bonus from it. It's just going to be a wasted point at that point. So either blow-through rounds or expanded ammo bags you definitely want to take. And then with this one, I pretty much always run get in, get out. The conductive bullets is also really good with it if you want to take the IFG grenade, and I have done that before. But most of the time I really like get in, get out because you can spray down whatever enemies are nearby, and though you might be slow, you actually get a speed up once you've completely emptied your clip. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it helped you out. If it did, be sure that you get subscribed. That way you get notifications whenever I post these. Special thanks to all of the supporters of the channel. These are my patrons over on Patreon and the members here on YouTube. If you would like to be a part of either of those, there are links down in the description below. And if you would like to see my other Deep Rock Galactic content, be sure to click over here on this video. This will take you to a full playlist. So I'll see you guys next time. Till then, stay cool. Bye.